Hey, don't get marked.
Oh,
Stay away from
girl,
me.
you think that's I don't care. Who ran up on a girl? You ran up on a girl. You hit my shit.
No,
Stop. Shut up.
No.
Wait, what'd you say, sir? I didn't hear
You're
you.
grown and you act like a little
Shut up.
What's up, boys? So you guys know I got sentenced to 3 months in prison. I don't have to turn myself in to January 6th.
Did the Jake Paul fight over the weekend.
6ix9ine, I'll flop ya.
Know the vibes. We outside. Here with my boy Jack.
Yes, sir.
Fresh home.
Yeah, straight out of jail, baby.
Straight out of jail. Oh, that's your mugshot?
Yeah. Hey,
That's
we're live
funny.
on Party.
Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, and I appreciate everyone rocking with me. For this video, we're looking at newly released official documents connected to the situation involving 6ix9ine and a recent incident at his residence. We now have clarity on how one of the individuals involved was identified, along with details tied to an earlier public disturbance that happened in a parking lot.
What's up? So I want to make this video to clear up all the fake news and rumors. So the world knows this. It's a fact. I'm on house arrest. I've been on house arrest. I think everyone in America and everyone across the world knows that I'm on house arrest. Yesterday, they allowed me to leave for work. People, I guess, saw that I was on live stream with Jack Doherty. They took that opportunity to do some.
As I showed previously, this individual provided information to authorities following that incident. There is also recorded footage showing the interaction, including the moment when a phone was taken out. We'll go through all of that step by step. Before we get into it, you don't have to put yourself in risky situations to make money. There's a simple app where you can earn real cash by playing games. Everything is clearly explained, payouts are visible up front, and you can withdraw what you earn without stress.
Like I said, it's me, so I get it. The rules are different for me. But if it was your favorite artist, your favorite actor, and that was done, they don't get no cool points for that. My mom is 60 years old. Y'all know I'm supposed to come home. Y'all know I'm home all the time. I'm on house arrest. So y'all take the opportunity that I'm not home. Y'all see me on live stream with Jack Doherty in Miami, and y'all do that. That's whack. Get no coupon for. I don't think nobody respects that.
Just scan the QR code on the screen or use the link in the description. Now back to the recap. An unauthorized break-in occurred at 6ix9ine's home. Multiple individuals were involved and family members were present at the time. Authorities later identified the people connected to the situation and they were taken into custody shortly afterward. Let's move into the official documents. On November 16th,
What's up, boys? So you guys know I got sentenced to 3 months in prison. I don't have to turn myself in to January 6th. So I told my team that I want to give my fans a project before I go in. So you guys are gonna have new music coming soon. But till January 6th, I'm free and I'm gonna be here with you guys. So this is the bet I got. Today I'm gonna bet a $30,000 hand on Rain Bet, but this is the thing.
2025, Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a call regarding an active residential incident that was already under investigation. After gathering the initial information from the individuals involved, I was instructed to respond to the location to continue the investigation. Upon arrival, I spoke with deputies who explained that early reports indicated 3 masked individuals.
If I win this hand, look, I'm facing a 5. If I win this hand, that means I'm gonna have a good prison sentence. But if I lose this hand, I feel like this is the time I'm gonna get beat up. I don't know why. And let's just see what's gonna happen.
Entered the residence carrying prohibited items and demanded money along with access to vehicles parked outside. The individuals left the area shortly afterward with items that were not immediately identified. All occupants were safely outside the residence and were later identified. Oscar Hernandez resides in a separate living area with his girlfriend, Brianna Alvo.
Totally agree. The guy they have is a 19-year-old. Generally, a 19-year-old is not going to do these things by himself. And when he does it with his boys, it's usually just a matter of time when the accomplices get caught, especially because it looks like Mr. Rodriguez was very sloppy with videos and he had his cell phone, which helped track him. And
Anthony Espinal, a family friend, lives in the main home. Nativa Perez, the mother of Oscar and Daniel, was also present. Daniel Hernandez, who occupies a room on the second floor, was not home at the time of the incident. I conducted sworn recorded interviews with both witnesses and those affected. Perez stated that she had just arrived home and was in the kitchen area. She then opened the door leading to the garage, which was already open, and encountered 3 masked individuals holding restricted items.
And there's plenty of evidence, apparently. Now, just because it took them a while to catch them doesn't mean that they don't have a lot of goods against them. And apparently, they've got it. Just there were so many different suspects here. You know, people were wondering if it was staged, if
Right.
there was this, right, if there was this group that they called the Island Boys that were behind it. But
As a result, 2 of the individuals began searching through the residence for items, while the third remained with Perez in the kitchen. After finding nothing of value, the group moved outside with Perez. One of them entered a black 2024 Mercedes Sprinter van through an unlocked passenger door and searched inside. The vehicle was parked in the driveway near the garage. The other 2 individuals went into the garage area and appeared to take small personal items, possibly handbags. While all 3 were distracted, Perez was able to move toward the separate living suite where other family members were located.
it looks like this was just a crime, a legitimate crime of someone who was targeting someone they knew would have money, and for at least a little while was getting away with it.
She knocked on the door seeking help and was met by her son, Oscar Hernandez, and family friend, Anthony Espinal. When the door was opened, they saw Perez visibly shaken and stating that unauthorized individuals were inside the property. Perez entered the suite for safety, while Espinal briefly stepped outside and observed 3 masked individuals in the area.
Yeah, that's right. But yet, I mean, to abduct your mom or like hold your mom hostage for at least a little bit, and it's not a thing that most people would do, even to try to get sympathy.
One of them attempted to get his attention, but he immediately went back inside. Hernandez secured Perez inside the residence and contacted emergency services. Shortly after, the individuals left the property. Based on this information, it became clear that several people were present across different structures on the property at the time. There was a main house, a separate living suite, and an additional building on the grounds.
And then they found an ID card that belonged to Tekashi's girlfriend. They had the photos. Like I said, how sloppy these folks were. There were images of 3 suspects captured on a neighboring homeowner's security camera. Yeah.
Initially, it appeared that only one family member was home, but multiple occupants were actually present during the incident. It appears the individuals became distracted after failing to find anything of value and did not closely monitor Perez, which allowed her to reach other family members inside the home and have emergency services contacted. Hernandez later stated that the residence was equipped with security cameras and that he provided the footage to responding deputies. I reviewed the surveillance recordings from the home. The footage shows 3 masked individuals entering the residence and encountering Perez in the kitchen.
Just have to assume, I mean, this is not the 1970s anymore. There are these Ring camera doorbells on many houses, and cell phones are trackers, and it's not just about fingerprints anymore. There's a lot of new technologies that'll catch you.
2 of them were carrying restricted items, while the third did not appear to have one. The individual without a restricted item remained near Perez as the other 2 searched through the house. At one point, their roles changed, with the 2 individuals carrying restricted items staying near Perez, while the third searched other areas. One of them called out, prompting the third to return to the kitchen, after which all 3 moved outside.
No, I mean, yeah, you're wearing the same clothes. Note to self, when you commit a crime, maybe you don't want to keep wearing the same clothes that you may be identified with. I mean, generally you burn the clothes, you try to change your appearance. I mean, this was a high-profile crime, and the sheriff's office is already a sophisticated law enforcement agency, and they were focused on this, and they used Rodriguez's phone records, messages, call logs to now look at these other.
One individual then entered a black Mercedes Sprinter van. Shortly afterward, the group left the driveway and exited the camera's view. The individuals were described as thin in build and wearing dark clothing. On November 17, 2025, I canvassed the surrounding area to locate additional video footage related to the incident. I later met with the community's security officer, who explained that a nearby resident had captured an image of 3 individuals on their property and had also discovered a card left behind. I went to the address and spoke with the homeowners, who said they had a trail camera set up in their yard.
co-conspirators, and I think that just a matter of time till they get it. These folks were apparently corresponding with each other and pretty free about messaging each other, and it's just amazing that these stupid criminals, alleged criminals, are just unaware that technology is different today than it was back when Billy the Kid was committing crimes.
The camera captured a photo showing 3 individuals walking through their driveway at night while using flashlights. On November 16, 2025, I reviewed the image, which clearly showed 3 figures moving through the area after dark. The homeowners also reported finding a card in their driveway that appeared to have been dropped recently as it was dry and undamaged. They provided the card to me, which was a medical identification card bearing the name A Day Alter. I collected both the card and the image and later submitted them as evidence.
Yeah, this is the time we're in, though, when people broadcast all these things about themselves. There's very little privacy left. So, you're taught, don't advertise that you're away from your home. And yet you're on the live stream and you obviously show a bit of your money, your possessions. You talk about it. You have these individuals who are probably just hanging around. These are 19, 20-year-olds who are hanging around. And
I then went to another location and met with Daniel Hernandez, also known as 6ix9ine, along with his girlfriend Aid. I showed them the card and she immediately recognized it as hers. She stated that the card had been inside her black purse, which was taken during the incident. Looking at the items that were taken, some of them would still have value on the resale market simply because of the brand names attached. Designer jewelry and accessories tend to hold interest regardless, especially if they are authentic. However, in reality, items like custom jewelry usually don't retain their full listed value unless sold through proper channels. Most of the time, only the material value is recovered, not the original retail price.
Probably not doing much with their lives and looking to do a heist. They're probably bored, also looking for some extra cash, and that's what they do. And they're just not the smartest folks in the world, and so they end up doing incriminating things like showing their face on surveillance video, use cell phones to communicate, to be tracked by authorities. And here we are. And then they're found, at least the main guy is found wearing the same jacket that he was wearing when he allegedly committed this crime. Like I said, just a matter of time when the others are caught as well.
The handbags alone were high-end pieces, and when combined with the jewelry and personal accessories, the total value of the missing property was estimated to be well over $30,000. So, while the individuals didn't find everything they were looking for,
it's about the right amount of time. I think they were caught just recently, and I think the crime occurred in November, correct?
Correct.
So, yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty good. But remember, these aren't the smartest criminals in the world. And so, even though it's high profile, you think, well, it wasn't solved for 6 weeks, it must be some sophisticated criminal. No, the police are there to make sure they have the goods, because if you arrest someone too early,
they still left with a significant amount of personal belongings. This is where the investigation becomes more detailed. As part of the ongoing review, authorities analyzed historical cell site location data from devices that connected to nearby towers around the relevant locations and timeframes. This process allowed investigators to determine which devices were present in specific areas during key moments of the incident.
the speedy trial clock will start, and that puts prosecutors at a disadvantage, because the defense lawyer can come in and say, okay, I want to go to trial like ASAP, and now the prosecutors are scrambling. So you want to make sure you have the goods. First of all, you need at least probable cause to make an arrest. And second, you want to make sure, at least for prosecutors' sake, there's even more than that.
The device connected to the phone number, which was intentionally obscured, was determined to be linked to Pedro Daniel Rodriguez. Location data indicated that the device traveled from Golden Lakes Boulevard to the area connected to the incident and then returned to Golden Lakes Boulevard afterward. A background review showed that Rodriguez is approximately 5'9", has a slim build, and resides in an apartment complex near Golden Lakes Boulevard. A detective later conducted discreet observation near Rodriguez's residence and noted that he was wearing a black long-sleeve hooded sweatshirt, black athletic-style pants, and dark footwear.
Where you can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt, because if you start charging first and asking questions later, you can lose the whole case. That's why police are very careful to make sure they've got enough evidence beyond just probable cause to make the arrest.
This detail stood out because it closely matched the clothing seen on two of the individuals captured in earlier surveillance footage. Based on this information, authorities obtained approval to search Rodriguez's apartment on December 19, 2025. The search was carried out by a specialized response unit from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. During the process, the occupants of the apartment were asked to exit the residence, including Rodriguez, his mother, and another individual named Sergio, who may be a relative. When Rodriguez exited the apartment, he was observed wearing a black Nike jacket with a rear ventilation feature, similar in appearance to clothing seen in the surveillance footage. This is why, early on, I said it didn't make sense for him to sit down with investigators at all.
Well, it's a safe county, but the entire county is not Palm Beach. Palm Beach is the island. It's the swanky island where Mar-a-Lago is, and very wealthy. The county is huge. The county is the 5th largest county land-wise east of the Mississippi.
By confirming his phone number, he connected himself directly to the same device that appeared at multiple relevant locations. That confirmation alone strengthened the link between him and the incident, since the data already showed that the device traveled between key areas. He stated that he had never been inside the gated community involved and claimed that on November 16, 2025, he stayed at his girlfriend's home before returning to his own place later that night. When asked if he had ever met Daniel Hernandez, he said they crossed paths once in traffic on Southern Boulevard and took a photo together on the side of the road. He also claimed he had not heard about anything happening to Hernandez recently.
And you have like 1.4 million people living there. So there are parts where there are areas where they're higher in crime than others. Now, where Tekashi lived, and I don't know exactly where he lives, but he, if it's a nice home, he probably lives in a nice area where there's not a lot of crime, but he's someone who's high profile, who probably talks about.
When informed that items of interest had been located in his room, he chose to stop answering questions and exercised his right to remain silent. At that point, the interview was ended, and at this stage, he hadn't provided any further information. In situations like this, it's common for people not to cooperate right away. Cooperation often happens later, once the seriousness of the legal situation becomes clear and time passes. During a separate conversation with Garcia, she confirmed that her room was the primary bedroom and that Rodriguez stayed in the front right room.
How much he owns, how much where he lives in general, and so people can find out. And here are these teenagers, 19, probably 20-year-old folks who have nothing better to do than to watch these live streams of him talking to Jack Doherty, who's another one, another controversial figure on the internet. And what are you doing? I mean, should you be working? Should you be like doing something better than that? Nope. And that's the type of person who have a predisposition to go do something as brazen as this.
She stated that on November 16th, 2025, she was in New York. She provided Rodriguez's phone number and explained that although the account is in her name, he has used that number for several years. When asked whether she contacted Rodriguez on November 16th, she confirmed that she did and voluntarily showed her phone. The call history reflected multiple calls with Rodriguez throughout that day. She was also asked whether she had home doorbell camera footage from November 16th and 17th. She confirmed that she did and provided access to the recordings. This is only a summary of that interview. After reviewing the footage, the following details were observed. On November 16th, 2025, Rodriguez and another unidentified male were seen leaving Rodriguez's residence. Rodriguez was wearing a black sweatshirt with a white emblem, black athletic-style pants with white stripes, and appeared to be carrying a cell phone. The back of his jacket had a visible air vent. The second individual was dressed in dark clothing. He is again observed wearing black athletic-style pants with white stripes and appears to be holding a mobile phone. He is accompanied by another unidentified male who is dressed in a black jacket, a white undershirt, and dark pants. Based on these observations, Rodriguez is consistently seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black striped athletic pants, and carrying a phone. When comparing this description to the available surveillance footage, two individuals can be seen wearing pants with similar striping. One appears to have a solid stripe, while the other shows multiple lines within the stripe. It's unclear whether visual differences are due to lighting, camera quality, or hair partially obscuring details, as one individual appears to have longer hair. There also appears to be a visible brand logo on the clothing, which aligns with earlier descriptions of what Rodriguez was wearing. Based on the similarities in clothing style, colors, and overall appearance, both individuals in the footage appear to be dressed very similarly, which is why the comparison stands out during the review of the surveillance material. They were seen wearing nearly identical outfits matching down to the smallest details. Based on the footage, one individual appears slimmer, but both are dressed almost exactly the same. It's difficult to say with certainty which person is which, but the similarities in clothing are clear when comparing the images side by side. During a search of the residence, investigators reported locating several items inside a black and yellow storage container in Rodriguez's room. These included multiple boxed vaping products containing THC, along with additional packaging materials. There were also several bags containing cannabis-related substances. Investigators also found 3 designer handbags, including a pink Chanel purse, a black Dolce & Gabbana purse, and a brown monogram Louis Vuitton bag. Additional THC cartridges and related products were also present in the room. Clothing items consistent with what was seen in the surveillance footage were recovered as well, including striped athletic pants, a black Nike hoodie, and a black polo-style hooded sweater. Based on the investigators' training and experience, the quantity of controlled substances located was described as consistent with distribution-level activity rather than personal use. On the kitchen counter, a red Apple iPhone with a black leather wallet case was found and identified as belonging to Rodriguez, containing his identification cards. The item recovered was later confirmed to have been reported missing in West Palm Beach in 2022. It included an extended attachment and matched the general description of an item referenced earlier in the incident documentation. Photos of the recovered handbags were taken and sent to Hernandez's girlfriend, who confirmed that all 3 belonged to her. She also stated that she was unaware that 2 of the designer purses had been taken at the time. In summary, investigators determined that Rodriguez's mobile devices were present in the area during the incident and also near the location where a missing personal card was later found. Video footage collected from his residence aligned with the movement patterns shown in the location data. Several of the missing purses were located inside his bedroom, along with clothing items that closely matched what was seen in surveillance footage. Additional materials were found in the residence that investigators described as consistent with distribution-level activity rather than personal use. Taken together, authorities stated that the totality of the evidence supported moving forward with formal charges related to unlawful entry, property removal, unlawful restraint, and controlled substance distribution. Investigators recovered the missing property, clothing that closely matched what was worn during the incident, and additional materials that connected him to the situation. They also obtained video footage showing his movements and reviewed mobile device data, placing him in the relevant locations. Taken together, the evidence created a very strong case with little room for dispute. Financially and legally, this placed him in a difficult position. Without substantial resources for an extensive legal defense, the situation appeared largely settled based on what had already been documented and collected. In a separate and unrelated incident discussed earlier, there was a public dispute involving vehicles in a parking area. Video footage shows a minor vehicle contact followed by a heated verbal exchange between the individuals involved. The interaction escalated briefly before both parties returned to their vehicles and left the area. Out of respect for platform guidelines, the physical portion of that encounter is not shown. It looks like he is currently being held while the legal process moves forward, with no immediate release approved at this time. He is 19 years old, which caused some confusion earlier, since footage and images circulating online were from different time periods. The vehicle-related incident discussed earlier reportedly happened back in March, which adds more context to everything that surfaced. At this point, based on what has been publicly outlined, the case appears to be heavily supported by documentation, video footage, and digital records. From an outside perspective, the evidence seems extensive, and the situation is unlikely to change dramatically without new developments. As for 6ix9ine, it appears he will ultimately see the situation resolved in his favor, especially given how much information has already come to light. Still, the full outcome will depend on how everything unfolds through the legal system. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who want the full picture. I appreciate everyone rocking with me, and I'll see you on the next one.